Welcome back, guys, to another video of me cooking things that you guys request. This request came from my sister Frances. She wanted me to make some Mexican food. So I chose tacos because I wanted to try to make some Birrias tacos. I'll be using corned beef, and since it has a lot of fat marbling, it makes for the best choice for the tacos. And yes, I know I'm butchering the name of the dish, but it's okay. Alright, and we're going to be starting off with a marinade for the meat, and we're going to be using some thyme because I feel like the earthy and citrusy flavor that it gives off will be very good for the dish. And I'll be wrapping it up with twine and putting it in a bowl of water and some chipotle juice. I took this from the can and I literally separated it from the actual peppers that were in there, and I'm going to be blending it up with some garlic. The chipotle and garlic will give us some smokiness to add to the dish. Alright, and when your chipotle and garlic is blended, you want to put that aside, and you want to put the meat in the bowl with the water and thyme, and then you want to pour the mixture that you made onto the meat. And so that the marinade can penetrate the meat even better, we're going to be using some basting sauce. It's going to also increase the flavor as well. Alright, then after that, you're going to want to add your black pepper, and then you want to add your salt to your liking, of course, and then you want to mix it up. And then we're going to be wrapping this in foil and placing it in the fridge overnight. Alright, and after you've left this in the fridge overnight to marinate, you're going to want to start on your stew. So the base of the stew is going to be some broth. We're going to be using 1 quart of beef broth. And then we're also going to be using the thyme that we had marinated our meat with, just for some added flavor. Alright, and the essence of the broth is really going to be these guajillo chilies. We're going to be breaking them up and putting them in the pot to boil down. You can either keep the seeds in there. I chose to keep the seeds because I like the spice. But if you're not really into that much spice, you can literally just take these out and they'll have the same flavor. It's all a matter of preference. Alright, and after you bring down your chilies, you want to bring it to the stove and leave it on a medium heat. Our tacos, we're going to be making a guacamole, so 4 avocados and an onion. And we're only going to be using half of the onion, and we're going to be using the other half for the tacos. And for the onions, I'm not going to be dicing them up too thin. I actually like the chunks in my guacamole, so you will notice that I am not making them very small because I like the bite and the crunch that it has. Alright, and I'll be using some rotel, some diced tomatoes in my guacamole. You can use fresh tomatoes. I just prefer the canned ones better, so it's all up to you. Alright, and we'll be adding some salt and some pepper, seasoned to your liking. Alright, and let's put this aside in the fridge and we'll get our stew. Alright, we're going to take our softened chilies and put them in a blender. We're going to break it down until it turns to a sauce. Okay, so we're going to be blending this at a pretty high speed. You want to try to get this broken down as much as possible. Alright, so we're going to want to put this back in the pot so we can start up our stew. I'll be leaving it on a stove at a very low temperature. Okay, so with 1/4 of the onion that I had left and some added bell peppers, I had grilled them down. And this will basically be the essence of our stew. But alright, we're adding in our meat along with the sauce or the marinade, along with the warmed up stew. Okay, so their recipe originally calls for a cinnamon stick, but I used a teaspoon of cinnamon instead and a tablespoon of cumin. And now we're going to throw this in the pressure cooker. Alright, once your stew is finished, we're going to be placing the meat in a separate bowl. We're going to be breaking this down into shreds and put it aside to where we can start building our tacos. To start the assembly, we dip the tortilla in the stew and basically fry it on a cast iron pan. Alright, and once you flipped it, you want to add your cheese. I'll be using mozzarella. Alright, then you want to go behind that with your meat. I'll be using a hefty amount because I don't like my tacos dry. And now it's time to fold it. Make sure you get both sides very toasted. Alright, and that's basically it. I added some fresh onions and I garnished it with some cilantro. Right here I have some sour cream, and I also have some of the guacamole that we made. Alright, and you want to also have a bowl of the stew you made. I had added onions to mine, but you can do whatever you want. But real quick, let's get a cross section of the taco just so I can show you guys what it's looking like. I honestly give this recipe a 10 out of 10. This was literally the best taco I've ever had, and I strongly encourage you to try this out. You guys really won't be disappointed, and honestly this was a very fun experience. I've never made something like this before, so give me a like if you think I did good or not. Anyway guys, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Let me know what I should do next.